So here's an update when it comes to Filecoin. Recently, Filecoin made a post saying how more than 100 teams already build on Filecoin on-chain cloud. Now, nothing I say is financial advice, and I'll talk about the price of FIL later, which is Filecoin's utility token. However, I want to talk about this real quick because oftentimes people like to tell me that, oh, if a project isn't Bitcoin, if it's not Ethereum, they say it's useless. However, I don't always agree with that in every single case because when I take a look at Filecoin, I don't think it's useless. It's a project that's focused on data storage. And if there's already more than 100 teams, supposedly, that already build on Filecoin on-chain cloud, is that really such a bad thing? Is it useless? I highly doubt that over 100 teams want to build on something that they think is useless. But besides that point, FIL, as of right now, it's around $1. Before it was slightly below $1. Now it's slightly above, but here's the thing. When I take a look at something like this, people like to say, oh, take a look at the small recovery. In the grand scheme of things, FIL, it's still down by quite a lot. However, personally for me, am I complaining about this situation? No, because FIL, it's around 20 times lower than $20 as of right now. In which case, if my intent anyways is to do something called dollar cost averaging, I'm not going to be complaining. I'm not going to be upset basically because my intent is to actually dollar cost average at the lowest point possible for the project that I'm a fan of. Now, I can't control that, right? I mean, it doesn't always happen because I can't control this space, but if I happen to be able to dollar cost average into a project that I already like anyways, yet the charts are not doing the best, I won't complain about that because my intent is to dollar cost average, right? My intent is to accumulate, not to leave. If my intent is to leave, then of course, it'd not be a good situation basically, because if I'm trying to exit when things are very low, how is that a good thing for me? But if my intent is to accumulate, if it's the dollar cost average at a lower point, I'm not going to be necessarily complaining. At $20 anyways, we're taking a look at a market cap at that point, considering current circulating supply of around 15 billion. Not a groundbreaking figure, first of all, in my opinion. And also on top of that, is this really such a tough task maybe for arguably the number one project in terms of popularity as of right now within this space in the market of data storage, which Filecoin I think arguably is, because I think Filecoin as of right now is more popular than Jasmy, Arweave, Storj, and as well as Filecoin. Is that really such a tough task? Shiba Inu reached around 40 billion in terms of market cap back in 2021 at one point, and also at one point Dogecoin reached over 80 billion that year as well. Is around 15 billion that outlandish of a milestone? We'll have to wait and see, but hypothetically, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me too much just because when I consider kind of the magnitude of something like Filecoin. Now, let's take this into consideration. FIL, at its peak back in 2021 in terms of market cap, we saw around almost 11 billion basically. The thing is this, 15 billion is not even that far off that. And people like to tell me, well, back then there was less competitors. Well, in the grand scheme of things, there is more projects right now, I think, than before. However, here's the thing. Is there more competitors, actually, when it comes to Filecoin? I don't feel like there's that many that increased. Let me explain why. Because if we take a look at Filecoin as of right now, it pretty much has four arguable, very famous competitors, right? We take a look at Jasmy, Arweave, Filecoin, and as well as Storj. That's not that many. Are we saying that four competitors pretty much that are recognizable when it comes to Filecoin, that many? So yes, there's way more projects in general, but a lot of them are not really that focused on data storage, and a lot of them are not really kind of competing toe-to-toe or head-to-head with Filecoin anyways. So it's not like Filecoin has so much stiff competition. It doesn't have that many, I think, actual competitors in the grand scheme of things. So if it was able to reach around 11 billion years ago, back in 2021, at that time, keep in mind, in the peak of the 2021 cycle, there was around 300 million owners. Supposedly now there's over 600 million. So now with basically way more owners, we haven't seen an altcoin season, but I'm just saying, now that there's way more owners, yet there's not even that many competitors to begin with when it comes to Filecoin in terms of the fundamentally amazing ones within its own niche, is around 15 billion really that much to ask for in terms of FIL hypothetically being at $20 and then the current circulating supply, if we were to consider that, the market cap at that point would be around 15 billion. I don't know if that sounds so ridiculous to me, but we'll wait and see because I don't think I've seen an altcoin season. But the thing is this, when it comes to FIL, It has around 153,000 holders, almost 154,000 actually. I don't want to be the one that gives up, basically, but I'm not telling anyone to do anything. This is just personally my mindset. However, also on top of that, when I take a look at it, as long as I'm not looking to exit, I feel like it's all unrealized for me anyways. Not to mention, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything, I feel like the most difficult part for me was discovering Filecoin. I feel like the easy part is me waiting, because all I have to do now is just wait, right? As long as I'm not looking to exit, as long as I still believe in the project, all I have to do is wait, basically. That's the way I take a look at it. How long do I have to wait? I have no control over that. Like, I mean, who knows, right? I mean, there's no way for me to control whether or not there's a hypothetical altcoin season. Like, how can I control that? There's no way. I'll never be able to know when it could start or even if it ever would. But all I know is that if I just wait, I mean, again, I don't know how long I'll have to wait, but I feel like that's the hypothetical easiest part for me.